The people who spread rumors about you have been stunned into silence. Pay close attention, my little child. There has been a shift, which is why the air around you is thick right now. The voices that used to mutter against you are now paralyzed and unable to speak because truth has exposed their falsehoods. Every word they spoke has come back to them like thunder, making the once gossip-filled room feel empty. Their hearts pound, their lips quiver, and their quiet is not tranquility. It's fear. They have nothing more to say because the truth has emerged in front of them like an immovable wall. They have chains around their own throats from the energy they expended telling tales about you. The discovery is just getting started, so stay with me. You'll be shocked by what's about to happen, just as it will quiet them. They never imagined that their remarks would have unintended consequences. They tried to secretly injure you by carrying your name like a blade, but now the same blade has severely wounded them. Their intentions to humiliate you ended up exposing them. They cringe now when they hear your name. They conceal the embarrassment that now covers their features by swallowing their pride rather than speaking. Silence has turned both your triumph and their punishment. The reality that protects you is stronger than their rumors. Because destiny has shown which side it supports, their mockery has turned into shaking. This is not a typical silence. It's the sound of losing. It is the sound of heaven demonstrating to you that the fire of truth is stronger than any voice spoken against you. People who once laughed in private are now scared to speak. Since the world has changed and their lies are no longer valid, they feel the weight of eyes on them. Like dust swept into the light, every private word they uttered has been revealed. The speed at which the tide shifted in your favor astounded them. What they muttered behind closed doors is now visible. Since they are unable to dispute what has been disclosed, their silence is a result of coercion rather than free will. Their vulnerability is now your strength. Your tenacity has turned into the very evidence that put an end to them. Their mouths reveal their shame, and their own shadows haunt them. This is why you shouldn't be afraid, my dear child. Their silence is the presence of justice rather than merely the lack of words. The universe was recording every second they attempted to drag your name through the mud. Their fate was predetermined by every thoughtless remark and derisive chuckle. They can no longer stand the sound of their own voices now that those records have been played back. They are surrounded by an overwhelming silence. They are unable to defend themselves since the truth cannot be refuted. In front of their own eyes, their attempts to distort your image have failed. Their mouths are chained by shame, not because they choose to be silent. They are crushed into silence by the burden of exposure, even if they attempt to speak. My child, hold on to this moment. What was once rumors is now evidence of your power. Stay put, my darling child, and don't turn away because what is about to happen will seal what has already started. Every corner where they plotted is now illuminated by a truth they cannot erase, and the world that once rejoiced in their voices is changing. This moment is the hinge that will turn your life from darkness into light, so hold on to it like a shield. A creeping, ashamed stillness has replaced their malicious laughing. Now, wherever they congregate, their eyes betray them before their mouths can create a new narrative. You watch as sorrow tightens the air around them and their confidence evaporates like water from a broken cup. Recall how they believed rumors could influence your destiny and that smallness of heart was strength. Every word they threw like stones was recorded by the universe, and those stones have come back to leave their imprints. The weight of their own words now exposes their pride. The silence that envelopes them is exact and precious, so do not hurry to celebrate. It is a presence of accountability rather than just a lack of noise. When the moment of truth finally comes, stand in that silence and allow it to teach you how sharp it can feel. Once, while feigning kindness, they imagined your breakdown and practiced your failure. These days, their rehearsals are pointless, abandoned screenplays that no one wants to read. The audience has changed, and you are the only one who continues to advance unabated. The next layer of your win is your composure, so maintain your cool as everyone else reacts. They will look for evidence that their whispers have found a home, but all they will find are your clean hands and steady feet. More than any criticism, this consistency will make them uneasy. You'll see people who cast shadows bending over little chores, acting as though they're doing business when their conscience is suddenly humming like a vein. Because normal things are now unfamiliar to them, their hands will fidget. Silence is something they are learning the hard way. This is the natural order that follows dishonesty, so let them experience the discomfort of their decisions. The world is hungry for justice, and when it comes, it doesn't knock courteously. Pretense loses its color as it drops with such clarity. People's voices will be subdued when they talk about change in the coming days because their confidence was eroded by the tide that rose for you. They will experience the chill of knowing the truth, and humility will be taught in a fierce way by that chill. Watch them with a kindness that feels powerful. There will be times when you hear rumors that are as persistent as weeds in bricks. Your life has been replanted in truth, therefore those echoes will not find any soil here. You have no right to enhance anything that is trying to die, so let those echoes die quietly. People who supported you without fanfare will get closer to you, and you will rediscover what loyalty looks like in that intimacy. These allies' faces will be the first to smile freely since they showed up when reputation was in jeopardy. Keep them near and provide kindness to those roots. You may get a surge of approval, a feeling that validates every evening you maintained your dignity. That warmth does not give you the right to act cruelly in return. Let your new momentum be kinder than the pain that gave rise to it, and use it to build rather than to break. Observe how their schemes to embarrass you come back like boomerangs, only to fall on their own feet. It is a silent display intended for sober observation rather than boasting. Slander is a bad architect of fate, as the world shall discover. Plant a new rhythm in your voice and daily movements from this source of regeneration. Talk more about progress and less about reprisals. You'll go farther by taking action than by starting an argument. One day, those same people will attempt to deliver meek apologies under the cover of casual remarks. You will feel the decision rise in your chest as they speak in a condensed, practiced manner. Some apologies are mirrors that return an image rather than healing, so choose dignity over accepting a small consolation. Carry the candle of truth through their dimly lit houses. Light discloses, not shames. In addition to clearing the dust from a room, light can reveal hidden objects in the corners. You now have a new type of reputation, one built on calm faith and perseverance. Allow it to settle like a cautious robe. Wear it with confidence and without concealing your newfound knowledge. When those who formerly admired you suddenly act shocked by your perseverance, don't be shocked. The sound of a world relearning how persistence leads to strength is their amazement. Allow their amazement to motivate you to take even more deliberate action. While lies were being told, some doors will close. With a genuine creak, these doors will start to open once more. If you treat them with integrity, the opportunities will be modest at first and eventually abundant. Proceed through them with a gentle assurance. You will meet possibilities that emerge as mild nudges rather than big outbursts. These nudges will ask you to show up steadily, be constant, and allow time to do its job. Now, time will be on your side. The folks who used to chatter will follow your development like they would a far-off, unattainable sunrise. Silence has finally taught them the consequences of their past decisions, so they won't talk about it. The most powerful witness of all is their silence. As this happens, keep in mind that what matters most is your inner world. Protect it from resentment and the desire to watch them plummet even further. You must make prudent use of your peace of mind. There will be times when you'll feel tempted to list all the wrongs they committed and describe in great detail how they tried to damage your reputation. With self-compassion, resist that impulse. When presence replaces story, healing progresses more quickly. Maintain a little thankfulness journal in which you record minor victories that demonstrate that the truth is on your side. These notes will serve as anchors when the world seems thin in the morning. Allow thankfulness to become a part of the new narrative that is being written. Do not be shocked if some people who previously avoided you suddenly attempt to re-establish contact with meaningless praise. They will make an uneven and occasionally uncomfortable return. Be mindful of who genuinely honors you and accept abundance with caution. Your voice will no longer have the brittle edge it formerly had when defending itself. Instead, it will be softer, clearer, and more refined. When you speak from that sophisticated position, you'll see that fewer words have greater impact. In your discourse, power will settle like a subdued authority. Observe how life reorganizes itself around reality, seemingly to create space for the person you have been subtly developing into. Doors that used to squeak shut now swing surprisingly smoothly. This reorganization is a methodical ordering rather than a chaotic one. Your tiny acts of bravery are what bind fresh futures together, so let them become daily milestones. Tiny rituals, firm farewells, and everyday obligations fulfilled are examples of courage. Honor these stitches since they strengthen the fabric. Even the most compassionate people have to maintain boundaries during certain seasons. It's one of those seasons now. Being firm turns into a love gesture for your future. Take a step back and look at yourself from the outside if you are inclined to revisit the past scenes in search of evidence or clarification. Observe how your patience has increased and how your posture has improved. Let your next decisions be shaped by the lessons you learn from observation. New tales of the truth will start to spread like a silent bell. Small testimony from people you hardly know will come forward to support your beliefs. These testimonials will be humble, and they will create a public record of justice that cannot be erased by rumors. Continue to work as though your efforts are important for reasons other than praise. Work with the honesty that renders rumors unimportant. The phrase that ultimately puts an end to idle chatter will be productivity combined with kindness. See how some of your detractors are forced to respond to questions they never would have thought to ask, not because you asked them, but because life did. Institutions that once permitted chatter will start their own reckonings, and systems react to truth with their own adjustments. These changes are constant and gradual. Do not rush into legal proceedings or theatrical settings in an attempt to establish your value. Character and everyday habit are the most significant courts. When you succeed there, the victory lasts forever. The number of simple acts of kindness that come back to you without any fuss will astound you. A fresh door opening at work, a grin from a neighbor, a text from an old friend. These are minor affirmations that genuineness draws beauty of its own. Rituals are anchors in storms, so cling to routines and rituals that nourish your spirit. They help you stay in touch with reality and the calm core where actual decisions originate. Beneath the cacophony, rituals will help you remember who you are. The core group of gossips will eventually be unable to look each other in the eye. They will be completely and unmistakably silent. The moment will educate them more than any reprimand, so you won't have to gloat right now. Let this teach you how to act when you win. Make use of your triumph to spread compassion and create areas where the truth can flourish more freely. The rarest kind of victory is one that fosters sympathy. Observe how your laughing gets more liberated and less protective as the days go by. Because of how resilient your delight will be, it will be a sound that frightens those who attempt to trap you. Let your laughter serve as your flag. There will be invites that you used to be afraid of, but they will now come with obvious intent. Allow new chapters to emerge by accepting them with discernment and joy. Celebrate little victories as the big narrative progresses. For those who have been harmed by gossip and darkness, your life now serves as a lighthouse. They will remember that dignity is a kind of silent revolution when they see you standing tall and steadily. Be that light without asking to be in the spotlight. Those who spread rumors will eventually learn the humility that only the truth can impart. Some people will offer sincere and delayed apologies. Others will only gradually alter their behavior to reflect the lessons they learned from the quiet. You will discover that mastery of response, rather than the absence of disturbance, is what defines tranquility. Decisions that refuse to be influenced by trivial goals will bring about peace. Make the decision to master it until it becomes second nature. Keep creating, loving, and showing up for the little things in life. Your life has been put to the test, and you have emerged from it with a clearer heart. Let your next actions be guided by this clarity. When the time comes to give this chapter a last blessing, do it with sincere thanks and without fanfare. Quiet blessings tend to travel the furthest and don't come back to the sender alone. The stillness that envelopes those who formerly spread rumors about you is not the conclusion of the narrative, so stay here with me, my little child. It merely serves as a gateway to the following chapter. Even if their voices are no longer audible, their decisions continue to reverberate, serving as a constant reminder that every word matters. The truth is changing the atmosphere around you in addition to silencing them. Light now flows freely where there was previously shadow. Conviction now stands firm where doubt formerly existed. The stains of their lies are being removed from every aspect of your life. The cacophony that was supposed to divert you has been eliminated by fate, making the road clearer and the air feel cleaner. It's time for you to breathe deeply once more. Your voice can now be heard because of your adversary's quiet. And as your voice rises, it demands rather than yells. Your presence now screams louder than their rumors ever could, even if you don't try. This was not what they had anticipated. They saw gossip as a harmless game that would make them feel good right away. However, fate is not a gamer. It repairs, corrects, and balances. Their realization is indicated by their stillness. The speed at which life corrected them and the speed at which lies became chains around their own necks astounded them. Their chuckles have given way to anxious looks and incomplete phrases. They can't even look you in the eyes anymore. They remain silent because their guilt overwhelms their bravery. Justice has spoken louder than anything you could have spoken, so you don't have to do anything. Recall that this stillness is not empty, my little kid. It's a triumph. It is the sound of the cosmos returning glory to you. They are now internally poisoned by the whispers they used to poison others. Every step they take is made heavier by the weight of karma bearing down on them. This is the cost of violating the dignity of another person. They have benefited more from your ascent than from their own decline. They believed that the strain of lies would cause you to shatter, but instead you grew unbreakable. Your strength increased as they continued to murmur. They are confessing by remaining silent. They have acknowledged their guilt without using words. They have proclaimed your innocence without saying anything. They are now paralyzed by the revelation of the truth and question how they will ever be able to move past the humiliation. With time, the quiet will become more audible. People will observe that those who used to gossip the most are now the quietest. No testimony will convey the story as plainly as their silence. When you visit the rooms where your name was formerly made fun of, they will go silent. The truth is like a guardian by your side, so they are unable to talk. Your name is now protected, sealed, and carried higher than the reach of slander. Their voices cannot touch what has been sanctified by justice. My beloved child, your destiny is not in their mouths. It is in your hands, declares Archangel Michael. And your hands are stronger than ever. My dear child, stay close because the story continues to unfold in ways that will sharpen your steps and steady your heart. The silence that fell upon them grows like a tide, exposing what was hidden and creating space for what is true. This is not just the conclusion of a small chapter. You will see their slow unraveling and feel no triumph, only a calm that knows rightness has been restored. Where they once plotted, there is now an awkward stillness that hums with consequences. Their gatherings shrink in courage as each face registers the cost of careless tongues. This is the beginning of a remade life where dignity returns like a sunrise. Let routine be your armor and kindness your daily creed. Observe how your reputation now moves before you, a gentle announcement that clears halls and opens conversations. Continue taking care of your inner life even as the outside world rearranges itself in your favor. The small rituals you maintain, such as waking, breathing, and giving quiet thanks, will become the scaffolding for a future that cannot be built by gossip. People who once cheered the rumor will now clear their throats in embarrassed silence. Your presence will be a quiet example of perseverance rather than the subject of whispered stories. On certain days, the memory of their words will resurface like a bruise, red and tender. Tend to that tenderness with gentleness instead of the flare of old defenses. As the world rebalances, some will approach with clumsy attempts at repair, offering thin apologies that sound like wind through paper. Accept what is true and let the rest fall away without comment. Healing requires gentle hands and steady breath, so give both freely until the wound becomes a wisdom line on your face. Your life doesn't have to maintain the reputation of others, it just needs to keep growing. In the silence that follows, keep an ear out for new opportunities that whisper rather than shout, Invitations will come that feel in line rather than frightening, and tiny doors will open to stable rooms. Enter them with thankfulness and the quiet assurance of someone who has been tried and found capable.